Okay, this is the 5th episode of the Radpherd. I guess I've not explained where Radpherd came from. I was trying to think of a name for the truck, and the full name is F4 Radpherd, because this is an F4 one-ton truck. Radpherd came from the beginnings of Rat Rod, and I didn't really want to use that, of course. And I thought, well, Radpherd would be a possible name, but I didn't like the way it flowed. So then I went to Radpherd, and that sounded better. Not really trying to play on the rad part, that people say, that's really rad. But I liked the way it flowed, but not quite. And then I came up with Radpherd, and Radpherd is Radpherd. So it's a little unique in the spelling, and it rolls off my tongue anyway, the way that I thought it should. So that's the Radpherd. And then to go a little further, explain my channel. It's called I'm Not Childish. Well, I started it several years ago, really as much for me as anyone, because of some struggles I'd been going through, but it gave me a way to express them. And they're still there if anybody's interested in watching them. But I'm Not Childish is not the full statement. I do that because I only use that part because it's too long to say the whole thing. So the whole statement is, I'm not childish. I'm at a higher level of immaturity. Okay, now let's get back to the Radpherd here. I have now shortened the front end, both fenders and the hood. The fenders, I cut them basically in the center of the arc. I took 7 inches out and then brought it back together. At this point, they're being held together by clecos and a piece of 1.5 inch channel underneath. The channel looks like this, and I'll show you underneath as well. So this is 1.5 inch channel. I bent it to match the shape of the fender. And after I cut the 7 inches out, I drilled 1/8 inch holes, which is what the clecos need, and clamped it together. And here is a picture of the channel. And you can see some clecos sticking through it. Now the clecos are a system that's used, that started, I guess, with aircraft. And what they do is they clamp things from the front side together. And how they work is, let's see, it's not focusing right. There we go. They open when you release them. They close when you push them down. Now those have a little gap, but that'll close when I go to put it in the hole. Let's see if I can do it from the film. Yeah, there we go. Now the piece of channel under there does a couple things. For now, it holds it together. When I get done, I'm going to weld my seam, and it gives me a backing material so that it's easier to weld. So in the end, the channel will actually be welded to the fender, so it stays there. The third thing it does is the fenders, because of this flat area that they're in, they want to buckle. So now this piece of channel under there acts as a stiffener. And the wheel well opening, as you can see, is quite ugly. And that will be trimmed and matched to the radius of the tires in their final location. And then I'll put a stiffener behind that as well. But I can't do that until I have the body sitting on the chassis. Also, here's how much that I've cut out. The hood used to come back to here, and now you can see it's up here. As well, the fender, you can see it's here, but actually back here is where it originally started. Now you probably are asking, why don't I move it back? Well, the way the frame is built and the core support, it doesn't allow me to move it back. So for now, that's just the way it's going to be. And actually, I'm not going to do any more work on the front body, the hood and fenders, until I have it setting on the chassis. But now you can also see that, yes, the sides are still needing to be narrowed, but the center is in position now. It doesn't fit up perfect yet, but this seam and this seam are matching up. They're actually, it's off a little bit just because it's just sitting there. They're not attached to each other. But you can see back to the back, I cut a wedge out, and then it tapered to the back. I closed it in till I had a matching set up in the front of those ribs to the front end, to the nose, and now that piece in general is finished. So the next thing we're going to do is pull the front end and then pull the engine. There's not going to be a lot to show there, but I am going to finish gutting it and taking the doors off as well. So that's it for this episode, and hope you enjoyed it. See you.